Help Heal Humanity is an internationally registered charity mindfully designed to provide the world's most vulnerable communities with access to education, food, support, and love. We build the infrastructure, develop the programming, and foster the global connections necessary to support the charity and future of the people in our project countries. Through unconditional giving, Help Heal Humanity achieves its mission to inspire and love those in need in a compassionate and sustainable way. Our vision is to make conscious giving a widespread global practice through kindness and servitude. Get involved now and be part of our Help Heal Humanity family.
Friday, everyone. Your real worth isn't defined by your net worth. What makes you valuable is how you use what you have been given. All of us have gifts. Make sure you're making the most of yours. Have an amazing Friday.
It is now the bottom of the hour. I'm excited to welcome Nancy Matthews to our program today. Nancy is an author of a book. I'm going to go ahead and highlight it in the carousel for you guys. There it is, The One Philosophy. I want to talk to Nancy not only about the re-release of the book, but also what it's been like for her to share the message with all of you guys. Nancy, great to have you on with us.
Hello, hello, hello. So happy to be here.
Hello. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You're slightly lower than what you normally are.
Am I slightly lower? That's not good. Can you hear me now? Am I loud?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Yay. Let me move up. There we go. Yay.
How are you doing this morning?
You know what? You know how we always say, we have nothing to really hide. We're very vulnerable because, people learn from us that way, right? So this morning, with the change of weather and everything, I go through what they call? I go through a change called allergy season, which yeah. So this morning I woke up and my eyes were all puffy and watery, and I'm sitting there like, I can't see. So
they're done that,
and it's like, okay, because I always try to do other remedies besides taking a medication because I don't like taking medication if I don't have to. But I'm telling you, Barbara, the medication one, I'm sorry. I tried everything and I was like, okay, I can't see. We're about to go on. The show's about to start. I'm like this. I said, I need to get these running out.
Yeah.
Eyes. Yeah. So yeah, it took me this time. But next time I want to beat
it. Get these working. Yeah.
Without the medication.
Been there, done that.
Yeah.
Been there, done that. Because I had allergies, so bad, and I used to drive, and I drove a shift car, so I would be driving with my elbow, with holding my glasses up like this off of my face, and steering like this with my, and shifting. So I would be steering with my elbow and shifting because my sinuses were so bad. I mean, I didn't know what it was like to not have a headache. I mean, it's just, I'm so blessed now that I don't have that, but
yeah, it's you got, you're okay with that because I know you're in the wellness field.
The wellness space. As soon as I went on to wellness, because an allergy is your body's way of saying help. It just doesn't know how to say what it needs. So when you just put in a high power nutritional, it takes what it wants, discards the rest.
Every time you always give these good golden nuggets. That's good to know. That's good to know. So basically all my eyes watering like it is like help. I need your help.
It's your body's way of saying help because it doesn't know how to talk to you, but it gives you a symptom is your body's cry. Mm-hmm. No matter what the symptom is. Unfortunately, and I don't want to get on a soapbox, but so the medical profession, they treat the symptoms. They don't treat the problem. Cause.
Not the deep, yeah. And and it's funny when you say that because even in health, I mean, that always goes to mental and everything else. Is sometimes we treat the symptoms of everything, but not the deep,
not the deep down stuff that really impacts. And it's so, and you know what? It's just meant to be that we're talking about this because guess what today is?
What's today?
Today is National Forgiveness Day.
Oh, okay. I like that.
And forgiveness is such an important part of our journey. Our spiritual journey, our mental journey, our emotional, our physical. And the thing is, forgiveness is not just an act of forgiveness. They call it an act of forgiveness, but it's actually a process. We have to go through a process to forgive, because sometimes it takes more to forgive. The thing is, though, the biggest person that we have to forgive, guess who?
Is ourselves.
Yeah. So, and one of the things that about forgiveness, but it means that, it means different things to different people, because we have to forgive others. The thing is, though, so often people think that if they're going to forgive somebody, it means that they have to either, continue the relationship. No, you don't. If somebody has really hurt you, yes, you have to forgive them. But you know what? You don't need to keep them in your life. So just saying.
What? You can love them. I always say you can love people from afar.
From a distance. Exactly.
Yes. Okay. Still show love.
Still show love, right? Yeah. But you have to forgive them. But people also think that it means that you're condoning their behavior. No, you're not. You can love the person. It's kind of like it says in the Bible, love the sinner, not the sin. And like with me, when somebody is doing this, it's like, ooh, I don't like what they're doing. Yeah. However, I like them. They don't like because what they're doing, and aren't we all? What we're doing can be very different than who we are. And that's where going down the wrong path comes in. Whether you're doing it with the best of intentions, like I always go back to family businesses. You're going down the path of going into your family business, and that's not what you're supposed to be doing. So I mean, but you give into the family pressure or whatever it is, and that's an example of that. But it's like, okay, you're doing it, but you know what? You also have to do what's good for you too.
Yeah.
So if you're in a family business, but find a way to be in touch with your own creative side too. And you might not be able to do it full time to start with or whatever, but you know what, things happen.
Yeah. And it's funny because just to touch a little bit on that, just to confirm what you're saying, is I always talk about, people's purpose.
Right.
And
exactly.
It's really important to know your purpose, not what other people think that you should be going into, but what you're deep, like you're going again, deep, and what you should be doing, because then that satisfies you in your own way. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. And the thing is though, too, is that forgiveness, the benefits of forgiveness are huge, because it takes more to hold a grudge. Because if you're holding a grudge against somebody, that means you're living in the past, and you are giving them power over you in the present.
Ooh, that is good, Barbara. That's really good. What you just say? Repeat. You had to repeat that. Repeat that.
People that don't forgive, that means you're living in the past, a past event, but you are now giving that person power in your present. And if you don't forgive them in your present, guess what's going to happen in your future?
Ooh, you touched. Yeah, you
yeah. And I'm gonna share on myself, because this morning when I look, because I've been really I'm liking this of finding out what day it is. So today when it was National Forgiveness Day, so of course I sat there and was all spiritual. Okay, so but then you ask the question, okay, so is there anything that I need to forgive somebody for? Of course, you always go to somebody else first. Okay, is there anybody else, and a situation came to mind from years ago, and I realized that I thought I had forgiven them, but things happen. You grow and you become aware, and I went, you know what? I haven't totally forgotten them, because it came, number one, it came to mind, and the part that came to mind was that I never got to tell my side of the story. And so there was that little pouty. Oh, for heaven's sakes, Barbara, it was years ago. So, are you really still going to sit here and give that little, it was over a hill of beans, but sometimes it's the hill of beans that get you.
Yeah. It's funny how the littlest things become the biggest things, and then sometimes to the point you don't even remember exactly what all of it was, but then for some reason you're holding this, whatever.
You're holding the anger. It's like they have no idea what caused the feud between the Hatfields and the McCoys, and yet it is still going on.
Yeah, that's.
So what happens when you don't forgive? Well, guess what? You're living under stress. You're feeling the anger. You're feeling resentment. You're feeling bitterness.
And the list goes on.
Right. And it just becomes that, as Carol says, you start spiraling down instead of spiraling up.
Yeah. So true.
And the thing is that one of the things for me is the forgiveness of ourselves. Yeah, but we have a superpower within us, and it's called empathy. So empathize with yourself. Okay, you did it. My saying, if you've done something wrong, and you've done something wrong. Okay, fess up, take the heat, but then go on. Forgive yourself for doing it. You did it. You either unintentionally, or you just was one of those days where you woke up and you just weren't thinking. We've all had days like that.
We all had days like that, yeah.
What was I thinking? Well, obviously I wasn't. Or you open your mouth before you and insert your foot before your brain kicks on. Yeah.
I have those days. I had to admit that some of them days I have where the whoop. I said, okay, Barbara, was your brain running? What happened to the brain? It stopped somewhere. You just whoop.
It stopped and you opened your mouth and went, I can't believe I just said
that. Was that me? It's like an out of body experience looking at yourself like, did I just say that?
Exactly. And you just kind of go, who was that screaming Mimi that just went?
So, Barbara, okay, now I want to ask you, since we're talking about, Forgiveness Day, National Forgiveness. Now, what do you do? I mean, I know this, but I think this might help others that are listening, maybe. Mm-hmm. What do you do when you need to forgive somebody, but they're no longer here, like they passed?
One time, okay, there was, we love our mothers.
See, I like how you say it like that because I'm in the same mode when you said that. It's like we're both in this sync.
We love our mothers. However, there were probably times growing up that you didn't quite like your mother. And one time, there were a couple of times where I just felt like my mom did not support me, because I was a little bit different one of the family. It just was that way. But I remember one time specifically that she just turned to me and said, "What's wrong with you?" And I knew in that moment that no matter what I did, or at least I felt in that moment that no matter what I did, whether I was the quiet introvert part of me or the vivacious outgoing part of me that part of me, either way, I was wrong. And so one day I sat down and I wrote my mom a letter. I mean, she's been gone. She's been gone for years. But, personal development but forgiveness and personal development is a process. It's a journey. So if you are still feeling something towards anybody, it doesn't have to be your mother. It could be anybody. And they have passed, write them a letter. Write them a letter. Write out everything you're feeling, everything that happened from your perspective, because there's always two perspectives. My mom, I think, looking back now, she thought she was probably, helping me, but it just, the way it came out was like, what's wrong with you? Kind of thing. Then once I did that it was like, oh, okay, yeah, she could only do the best that she could with what she knew and how she had been brought up. Yeah. So, and we can do that, and plus this letter writing works even if that person is still alive, but you do not want to have anything to do with them.
That works too,
because you have to get it out of your body.
Yes.
It's unforgiveness is like you drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Because you have to get it out of your body, no matter what it is, whether it's unforgiveness, whether it's some kind of trauma, whether you have seen something. If you've seen a tragic car accident and were an eyewitness to it, a gal that I know, she was the eyewitness to a death at her factory, at the factory that she worked at. A door came down and killed a man underneath it. Just things like that. Those are trauma to your body. If you do not get it out of your body, your body will store it somewhere, because emotions get stored in our bodies. That's why you can remember things back from 30 years ago or 20 years ago or last year, and you still feel that same, especially if it's anger or hurt, it comes out as resentment. You still you will go back to that place in time. and you will remember it. Your body will remember it. So that's why you've got to get it out. I remember one time I was now I don't remember what it is, because at the time I was so angry. I was writing, I literally ripped the paper that I was writing on. I was so mad.
Wow.
Now I don't remember what I was mad about, but I knew that emotion. I was so mad. And one of my coaches had said, Barb, write it down. Get it out of your body. You have got to let this go, because otherwise it is going to store and it will come out somewhere which
else,
brings us back to, who was that screaming Mimi that just ran by? Because maybe the thing that you are upset about in that moment was something that you had buried from way back when. Especially in couples. They'll start one little issue and then all of a sudden everything. Well, don't you remember when you did that? Because it's been stored somewhere in your body. You've got to get those things out.
And most people are like, I don't remember. No, what are you talking about? What was it? I mean, what did I, you come back and even ask the question, what did I do? I don't remember what happened. And then what the funny part of that is, Barbara, after somebody might say on the either side to say, I don't really remember why we're even arguing. What do you mean? So it wasn't important to you? I mean, then there's a whole nother.
And there's and off it's running again.
Yeah. It's like,
so just forgive them for the first thing.
Yeah. And just let it go.
Yeah.
Time is too short. I always think now, Barbara, when, I get upset or, anything like you're just saying or not forgiving, I always think about the time right now. We have, our time is really precious. So, how we always say people say every day, you should be thankful. I go even to more. So I go to like every second of the day. We should be thankful, because you never know when, your day is up, basically. Yeah. And I mean, I'm just seeing, through the news and stuff. I mean, I'm seeing actors and actresses that we all kind of grew up with, me, that are gone now. I mean, they're just like, and I know that's part of life, but that's why you have to go back, going back to what you're saying and what National Forgiveness Day is today, is forgive that person, forgive yourself. Stop beating yourself up. I think that's the hardest out of every forgiveness you can do. Is the hardest is forgiving yourself, because you live with yourself every day, and you can just always, rethink things, like, I don't know, I don't forgive. But you got to stop that process.
Right. Yeah. You have to give yourself, I think the thing is you have to give yourself permission to stop living in the past. The past is past. I mean, what we've talked about for this last 10 minutes is now in the past. We cannot take back the word. We can't take back. We can't take back admitting that I have a screaming Mimi side of me.
I like that. I got to use the screaming Mimi.
Screaming Mimi. I look back on when my kids were just like, oh, brother. And that happens. So just forgive yourself. And that's where empathy comes in.
Yes.
Have empathy for yourself. Sit down and just say, okay, self, whatever your name is, what triggered that? What triggered it? And then wait for an answer. And if it makes you cry, you will know it is from something in your past. And just sit with it. Feel the emotion of the hurt, the anger, the betrayal, the abandonment, whatever it was. Feel the emotion. Let it come up. Let it manifest, and just let it flow. If the tears or whatever it is, that just let it out. Or if you have to write it down, and you'll sometimes be shaking with anger so much and you rip the paper. That is what has to get out, because something triggered it.
Yes.
And then have empathy with that. They always talk about the inner child. Your inner child just wants to be comforted.
Yeah.
So do it. Sit down and picture taking, okay, an example. What happens so often? Okay, go to a park, watch kids play. If one of them falls down, would you go over to that child and say, "What is wrong with you? Why did you do this? Because what made you fall down?" No, you would pick them up. You would comfort them and say, "Oh, doesn't it? Oh, gee, I'm so sorry that it hurts so bad."
Yeah.
But
are you okay?
Check are you okay? Yeah. But guess what we do to ourselves? We fall down and we go back. We go and, "What's the matter with you that you did this so wrong? What was the matter with you?
You idiot!"
We do that to ourselves.
Insulting ourselves. Yeah, you're right. We beat ourselves.
Those are the saboteurs that are trying to steal your happy life.
Wow.
You have that sage power is the empathy. When you can, that sage within us is that empathy. We can go, "Oh, okay, yeah, gee, Barbara, you did that. Gee, maybe it wasn't the best plan maybe it wasn't the best plan that you've ever had, but you know what? It's in the past. So, okay, maybe we can think of a better way next time."
Yeah. It's I always say it's a learn. I always put it in my head that, okay, Barbara, here's another learning experience that you can learn from and move forward on something maybe you can do better or different next time. Or if it's a one-time thing, maybe it might never come up anymore. So really, at that point in time, really let it go.
Yeah, or you can find the gift or the opportunity in it.
Within
in every situation, there could be a gift, something that you needed to learn.
Yeah.
And when you're dealing with someone else and you're having an argument, this is the last thing I'll say on the subject because we'll bring our guest up. But if it's somebody else, in any interaction, the other person is 10% right. There is a nugget of truth. So look for that 10% that could be right.
Yes. Yeah, because it takes two to tango.
Because it takes two to have an argument. Even with yourself. Even with yourself, it takes two to have an argument.
So with that, we'll be right back. We're going to give some love to our sponsor, and we'll be right back.
Yeah.
And although it may seem a little mundane, packing up boxes and, being on the assembly line, what we're really doing is putting in hundreds of hours into the people on the streets who need us. And they need us in a way that none of us will ever understand. And for the last couple of weeks, I've been on the grounds every day. They know we're coming today, they know we're coming tomorrow, and they look forward to seeing us because we're the one little bit of hope that they have a warm meal in their bellies and to know that somebody in the world is actually caring for them and loving them. And without people like you showing up today to give your time, your energy, and your spirit, none of this is possible. So I want to really say thank you to everyone because what we're doing here today may seem small, but it's actually really, really big. And it's impacting hundreds and thousands of families. So I thank you, I love you, I look forward to doing this with you today. My name is Serena Buffalino, and I am the founder of Help Heal Humanity. Uphill Humanity is a charity that is focused on unconditional giving, love, and support to some of the most vulnerable communities in the world.
Hello, we're back. We are back. And I just want to say, first of all, Barbara, I just want to thank you. And like I said, we all got to give thanks to for always bringing some good topics to talk about, not just with each other, because I know we love to discuss things with each other, but also on the show where hopefully other people are really learning and growing from the topics that we're talking about, especially about forgiveness. And see, we already have people out there saying love this presentation. So yay. And we have people watching.
Right.
Yeah.
And you'll think one of the things for me is that, we all like, for myself, I always like to bring on guests and talk about things that I need to talk about, because when you can talk about it, it gets it out. Number one, it gets it out of your body. Mm-hmm. And like this morning, I was really surprised that incident that from years ago came to mind. And I went, where did that come from? So, I mean, I do what I tell other people to do, because okay, there goes tripod. Okay.
That's our mascot, remember?
Yep. She's good.
That's our mascot. I was waiting. I was like, I just wait now.
She just kind of went down past me, so it was really weird. But anyways, yeah, she's feeling good today. Yesterday, one of my assorted grandchildren, the acquired grandchildren, she works at a pet rescue. And they do. So I said, you know what, tripod, she's got something in her ear. She said, I'll bring her down. Let me look at her. Well, she got her ears cleaned. She got her nails clipped. And all I did was walk down my stairs.
She got some self-care yesterday.
So tripod got some self-care. Which, okay, let's talk about this is meant to be. Let's talk about self-care for a minute. You must forgive. I'm looking at the camera here. Okay, you must forgive yourself for needing self-care.
Not the good
Have we heard that, people? Especially you ladies. Self-care is not selfish.
Yeah.
You must take care of yourself. Because if you don't take care of you, how can you possibly take care of anybody else?
Yeah. Yeah. So, Barbara, you know what? I'm glad you said, see, I'm telling you. So I had to stop. Like you said, lessons learned from Barbara, because Barbara has done the opposite. Lessons learned. I have done many times. And I think I've said this on the show, where some weekends, I just do a Netflix day, or, what I had planned is like, whoop, that's gone because I did something, and just nothing really. I mean, just, just really just relax. And I used to beat myself really bad for that, because I'm like, there's so much other things I need, because you're thinking in the back of your mind, I got to get this done, and I'm sitting here watching, Pretty Woman or something.
Right.
So I was like, but I had to stop, because that wasn't really, when you think about it, Barbara, if I'm sitting there still thinking about what I need to do and beat myself up because I'm sitting here watching a movie, is that really self-care at that time? No.
Exactly. No.
No.
Because you're beating yourself up. So you're living in the past, and you're robbing yourself of your future, and you are not enjoying your present.
Yeah, because I'm so busy talking about, if I wasn't sitting here, I didn't need to be doing this, and I should, I should be doing this. Why are you doing this, Barbara?
Right.
And it's just talk in your mind. I'm like, how you get some self-care and you're sitting there beating yourself up in your head?
Right. and that comes under the should've, could've's. The should've's. Don't should on yourself. I should be doing this. Because you know what? We could do that every minute of every day.
Yeah.
That's where the self-care comes in. And that's when we have to have empathy for ourselves and really just go into go into discovery mode.
Yes.
Why am I feeling this way? Why am I feeling that? Here's tripod. Why am I feeling that I have to justify taking time off? Whether it's to watch a movie or go to a game or go out dancing or whatever it is. Why are we feeling that we have to justify it?
Yeah, that's a good question, Barbara. Why do we feel like we have to justify us getting self-care, us just relaxing and taking a pause moment or whatever? Why do we have to keep saying to ourselves, well, I'm supposed to be doing this?
Yeah.
But then you're really not doing self-care. So now you got to start. And when you think about it, when you do that, it's like, okay, now you need more self-care because you just beat yourself up for 2 hours talking about why you stood there doing self-care.
So why you're not doing self-care.
So look at how much time you wasted. It's like, okay, here you go again.
Right. So so that comes back to mindset shifting and then going into mind flow. So what's your mindset right now? Why do you want to sit and watch a movie? Okay, I've had this, the biggest thing, look at what you have done. Celebrate what you have done. Yeah. Look at everything that I have gotten done this week. Okay. Wow. I got a lot done. Did I celebrate them? No. Well, what are you going to do to celebrate? Oh, I'm going to watch a movie.
Or a favorite show, or listen to some jazz music,
or you're going to read a book, or with me, I sit and crochet. Yeah. It's
or write your journal, or or get out and do a walk, or do a drive, or whatever. Like you said, that's celebrating. See, some people don't look at that, and I'm glad you brought that up. See, I'm telling you a lot of good old nuggets that you can celebrate in different ways for you. It doesn't have to always be balloons and and say celebrate. But in your mind, you can say that and say, you know what? I'm going to take this walk. I'm going to take this. I'm going to look outside. I'm going to listen to the birds. I'm going to listen to nature. I mean, I want to look up and see the blue sky if it's blue at that time. I mean, sometimes with clouds. But even with that, you need to take that time out.
Right. And that's exactly it. You just nailed it. Time out.
Time out.
Whether you sit and meditate, like I lots of times I'll sit and meditate, and to just sit in that quietness, I have a track on YouTube, and it's music to rest and study by. And I will put my earphones on, the noise deafening, the noise cancellation, so I don't hear what's going on around me. And I'll put that on, and I'll just mentally go to the beach. So huge. Go to your favorite place. You don't have to physically go there, but you can mentally go there. It is such a powerful thing because it comes back to the fact that your brain doesn't know the difference. It doesn't know that it's still sitting in my blue chair in Illinois, and yet in my mind, I am in St. George, Utah, or I am in Joshua Tree in California, or I'm on the beach in Florida. Your brain doesn't know the difference. It really doesn't. So take that time to just sit and let it happen. One of the things that I do is I have a couple of beach scenes. So I'll look at my beach scene, and then I'll start. So I have that beach scene in my vision when I sit down to meditate, even though I'm still sitting in my blue chair. And sorry, friend, she knows I'm on this show. But anyways, but life happens.
We're live. That's what happens. But I love how you.
The funniest one was when Tripod knocked down my virtual background.
Oh yeah, I remember that too. You said, "Oh well."
Oh well.
See, and you know what? That's good. See, the oh wells. I love that because before when I first started going live, and I think we all been there. because we want everything to be okay and perfect to a certain extent, and we want things that don't happen.
You want it to be perfect.
And then soon as you think like that, that's when I feel like that's when things happen, is when you're trying to be all like this. And then you come to say to yourself, you know what, this is life. It happens. Let's just keep it moving. I mean, deal with it, then keep it moving. And I tell some people that be on, I'd be like, okay, it happened. Afterwards, we'll keep it moving. You don't have to keep talking about it, because sometimes when I'm interviewing people, something happens, they say, oh my God, it just happened. Oh my God, this has happened. I'm like, okay, that was in the past now. Like you said,
it's already gone. It's already gone.
We're moving.
Well, and that's what I really think sometimes, that in all of the shows that are on, I really think that they should leave some of the bloopers in, because it shows them that their life, that these they're not perfect. It's like being on Facebook. You only see the top 10% of everything that's going right in their life. You don't see the other 80% of the stuff that's falling apart in their life until there's a scandal. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, really? I would never have thought.
Yeah, you'd be like, what?
Gee, they really are human. That's why I love watching the blooper shows. Like if I'm feeling a little down about something that I've done that I could have done better, hey, you know what? Let's go watch some of the blooper shows. There's loads of them. There's loads of them. Because I'm sorry, but there is nobody perfect outside of the Bible, or of the Bible persons. There's nobody perfect. But even you look at the people in the Bible and you go, oh brother, and they were a child of God. Yeah, they were, but they didn't do they did some things that were less than stellar, and haven't we all?
Yeah,
we would not. There are things that I would not want to have shouted from the rooftops. Just, what was I thinking? Well, obviously not.
You did that. No, just kidding.
Exactly. But now we can laugh about it. So, and that's one of the things about forgiveness. Let's get back to that for half a second. Is that when you have truly forgiven somebody or forgiven yourself, you can absolutely laugh about it.
Yeah.
If it's still a raw wound, I can't believe they did that. Or, Barbara, I can't believe you did that. Then, okay, get in touch with, why are you still feeling that way? What's triggering that? Because you have to get to the point where either you forget it, or now I just laugh about something.
Definitely. You gotta,
it's when you do that, you're going to reap the benefits of, you're going to be able to deal, when you do it with little things or even little bigger things, when you have the ability to forgive the little things, it also gives you the wherewithal to cope with bigger things. We have the little hill of beans that, like I remember, okay, I'll give you one example. One day I was at an event, and the speaker, she got up and she said, okay, she's, all right, people, there's the elephant in the room here right at this moment. She said, I have two completely different shoes on. She wanted to see which one looked better with her outfit, and then got distracted. She came out, had two completely different shoes on. So, and we laughed so hard because we've all done things like that.
Well, yeah, it's funny you said that, because just the other day I went out and I was wondering why my shirt felt different. It felt a little bit, it wasn't fitting right. Come to find out, it was backwards. I had it inside out.
Or inside out. Or inside out.
I said, okay, Barbara. You just
well. Exactly. So when we can laugh about those little things and forgive ourselves for those little things, it sets us up to handle more difficult or more traumatic things. And then because when you do that, then you have the benefits of mental and emotional well-being. You know me, I'm on a mission to make happiness the norm rather than the exception. Because we do deserve to lead happy, healthy, financially free, abundant lives. Well, in order to do that, you need to have that mental fitness. You need to have your physical fitness, take care of yourself and take nutrients, and you have to have your financial fitness.
Yes.
And like with me, I work with people that are coming up to retirement, and they don't have enough money to retire on to keep them in the lifestyle that they have right now. Yeah. And so, and that's where my space is. I talked to a gal yesterday and she's like, oh, right. Yeah. Because people don't think about it. Oh, I have plenty of time to do that. Well, you might not.
Yeah.
Retirement comes.
Yeah.
You don't know when, and over the last few years, people have been forced into it.
Yes. Yeah.
And they didn't have the wherewithal to do it. And it's so funny because, I teach people how to build home-based businesses, in the wellness space and in the mental space, mental and fitness, in the fitness space. And one day a couple of people were saying, oh, it's just so hard to get people to work in, restaurants and at daycares and all this kind of stuff. And I went, well, yeah, part of it is because of people like me, because I'm teaching people how to work at home.
So you're the culprit.
So I'm one of the culprits. And yet people have, they're calling it the Great Resignation, because people are resigning out of things that are not fulfilling them.
And they don't
want to live a life of purpose and passion, and have the drive to do it, which is what your platform is. Have purpose, passion, and drive. Well, for me, it's give them mental fitness, physical fitness, and financial fitness. We need that in our lives.
Yes.
And we have to forgive ourselves for not doing it sooner. Huge.
Now that's huge.
It's never too late.
Never too late.
It's
with that, Barbara, our time. Can you believe our time is gone? we need to wrap it up, lady. So thank you so much, Barbara, for giving us these life lessons today, because they were so much needed.
I was talking to myself. You don't know that, but that's one thing about having us both with the same name. Because sometimes when I'm talking to myself, it's like, well, Barbara.
But then you're talking to me too.
I'm like, I'm just talking to Barb. It's like, yeah, no, you're talking to yourself.
And you're talking to Barb. I know it's funny. It's funny. So everybody, this is always, I love my co-host so much. Thank you so much, Barbara, for just being in my life, being a part of the Time to Shine Happiness Show, and naming it that, and making it a movement, like we always say. What you always say, Barbara?
Yeah. Hey, we're on a mission to make happiness the norm rather than the exception.
There we go. We go.
Let's be happy. Let's be happy.
Okay, ladies. So we'll see everybody next Tuesday. Same station, same time.
We'll see you next Tuesday. Same time, same station. Have a good one. Bye.